You are Locked On Yankees Postcast, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, welcome. It's the Locked On Yankees Postcast. We'll be with you immediately following every Yankee game. My name is Jay Berman. Happy to have you aboard. All right, Yankees fans, you finally got your wish, and rightfully so. The Martian finally gets called up to the big time. Of course, he had the service time last year as well. And as we said earlier, perhaps a little late. In fact, 8 days late to be exact. Should have been called up on September 1st when he was able to be. But that's neither here nor there. We'll get to Jason Dominguez more later on. As we said, he got the call last night into the starting lineup tonight against the Kansas City Royals. Yanks fall behind, but they take care of business, beat up on the Royals, pulling away 10-4 final score. They kick off the homestand in style. That snapped the Royals' 4-game win streak, and the Yanks have increased their lead in the division over the Orioles to a 1.5 over Baltimore. The Orioles blown out by the Red Sox at Fenway. All right, thanks for making Locked On Sports New York your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And again, my name is Jay Berman. You can follow me on X at JayBerman. If you're wondering who I am, I'm a New York-based host, anchor, reporter who has spent time at quite a few places. Here's just a few of them: Sports Grid, CBS Sports Radio, 880, 1010 Wins, Bloomberg Radio, News 12 Networks, MLB.com, SI.com, WDEF, RNN, and WLNY. Also want to mention our partners in crime over at Locked On Yankees. That's Stacey Gotsulias and Brian McKeon. They handle all the stuff at Locked On Yankees. Really are the best at what they do. So follow, subscribe, and enjoy. And again, thanks for making Locked On Sports New York your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. So as we mentioned, the Martian returns, and we'll start right there. He goes 1 for 4 in his return. Of course, he had that one at bat earlier in the season. His first at bat grounded out to first, nothing there. Single in the second at bat, in fact. He scores on the Salvador Perez throwing error, so he sort of manufactured a run, steals third with 2 outs. By the way, Paul O'Neill actually thought that was a good play. I was a little concerned about the, I guess the merits of the steal there, but it worked out. He scores the run. Of course, the next batter was Alex Verdugo. He hits the home run. And even O'Neill mentioned this in the broadcast as well. Will this light a fire under Alex Verdugo? Hits the home run tonight that put the Yankees in the lead, but his playing time is going to shrink with the addition of Jason Dominguez. And by the way, can we get him a real number, please? 89. I know we discussed this last year, and we discussed it earlier in the season as well. But number 89, he's the top prospect in the Yankees organization, the number 6 prospect in all of baseball. Let's get him a better number. Stuff usually doesn't bother me, but for some reason it did here. All right, so the Martian returns. Meanwhile, Carlos Rodon really racking up the strikeouts. The last time he pitched, 11 strikeouts, which was his Yankee high. Tonight, strikes out 9. 9 Royals go down. He did give up a couple of home runs, one to Salvador Perez, the other to Hunter Renfroe, but obviously those didn't hurt him. He was looking for his career-high 15th win, didn't get it, did not figure in the decision. That's a no decision, so he's stuck on 14. The Yankees staff has been real good. Of course, they come from Chicago, where they did not allow an earned run, the Yankees staff did, over the 3 games in Chicago. That hasn't happened in a long, long time. And especially early on with Rodon, right out of the gates in the first and second innings, the Royals hitters were very aggressive, really like to swing. They do not like to wait. And that sort of forced the first run, if you will, to be scored. 2 errors in the first inning led to a Royals run. Obviously, that wasn't important in the grand scheme of things, but behind Rodon, some shoddy defense. All right, the cleanup hitter on the Yankees, of course, now is Austin Wells. He has been phenomenal. Hit another home run tonight. Also drove in 4. Wells goes 2 for 4 with the big home run. By the way, 404 feet, an absolute bomb. So looks like we found our cleanup hitter in Wells. Again, he drives in 4. Now, coming into the game, obviously, Rodon was a storyline. And then Dominguez with the late call-up. We didn't find out till about 4 Eastern time. So those were obviously bullet points in the rundown moving forward. Also, a pre-game storyline, if you will, was the matchup of MVPs, or at least 1 and 2 in the American League. It's going to be Aaron Judge. We know that. But Bobby Witt Jr. has been an amazing, has had an amazing year. And a lot of people like to All right, we are back, and we are telling you that the Yankees, as we said, now have a game-and-a-half lead over the Orioles. In the American League East. Salvador Perez. I wanted to make note of this just because it's an amazing story. Nearing 100 RBIs. He's the only member of the Royals that's still around, back from that 2015 World Series winning team. He drove in 3 more runs today, now has 99 on the season, hit a home run to the back wall of the bullpen. It was a bomb. Took the breath away of Michael Kay, if you will, again, to the back of the bullpen wall. All right, Gleyber had an interesting night. Gleyber Torres, of course, still in the leadoff spot. Whose fault was it on that pop-up? That was interesting. At first, it looked like Gleyber had pulled a Luis Castillo there, for Yankee fans remembering that, for Met fans remembering that as well. But instead, later on, they discussed it. Kay and O'Neill discussed it, and so did Soto coming in from right field, and Gleyber from second base really was towards the center field side of second base. So he had a long way to run. Soto did not call it. The ball drops. The Royals score. And of course, it didn't turn out to mean anything, but again, some interesting times. Rodon has allowed 28 home runs this season. That is an alarming number. However, and 2 more tonight, by the way. However, of the 28 home runs he's allowed, 21 of them have been solo shots. Yes, they're home runs, but they're solo shots. So damage not coming with men on base. 6 innings, 3 earned tonight. As we said, struck out 9. That's 20 strikeouts in the last 2 starts. He's been pretty good of late. And obviously fine-tuning his position in the playoffs in that rotation. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll once again discuss our bullet points. Carlos Rodon, Jason Dominguez, Austin Wells, Aaron Judge, all of it coming up. All right, you've heard us talk about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We'll have something a little different for you now through September 22nd. All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com and download America's #1 sports book. All right, we are back, and let's reset. As we said, this is the Locked On Yankees postcast after another win. Yankees beat the Royals tonight, 10-4 final score. Jason Dominguez finally gets the call up. He got the call late last night. What's interesting here is, so he gets the call last night. None of us know, obviously. Only he knows and his teammates. So the Yankee locker room, interestingly enough, opens up at 3 Eastern for the reporters to go in and discuss things with the players. Now, the roster move had not been officially announced yet. So when the reporters walked into the locker room, they saw a nameplate at the top of one of the lockers that said Dominguez. So they assumed, without an official word, that he had been called up. An hour later, we get the official word. It's an official call-up. DJ LeMahieu with a hip to the IL. Dominguez, as we said, gets the call last night in the starting lineup today, gets a hit, scores a run, steals a base. He was really good. As for Carlos Rodon, as we mentioned, has now struck out 20 batters in the last 2 games. He goes 6, as we mentioned. He strikes out 9, 3 earned runs, 4 runs total, 3 earned, 1 unearned. That came, of course, in the first inning. Didn't realize until the Yes broadcast mentioned it. Anthony Volpe, who we know wasn't in the lineup, did not start tonight. Not counting the All-Star break, so pay attention, not counting the All-Star break, hasn't had a day off since the last day of March. March 31st was the last day, an Iron Man. We don't talk about it much. But that was the first series. That was in Houston against the Astros, the first series of the season. He did pinch run for Gleyber in the 8th inning tonight. For what it's worth, I'm not really sure why. The game was pretty much out of reach at that point in time. Maybe just to get him in there and get Gleyber off his feet and have Volpe play the field in the 9th inning. But again, didn't realize what an Iron Man streak for Volpe. Certainly deserved that day off. All right, also no Volpe, no Giancarlo Stanton tonight, who seems to be getting more days off as the season comes to an end. I'm not exactly sure why, but I promise you that Stanton and Volpe will be in there when the playoffs begin. Thanks for making Locked On Sports New York your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And again, my name is Jay Berman. It's the Locked On Yankees postcast. We'll be with you immediately following every Yankees game. My name, as I said, is Jay Berman. Follow me on X at Jay Berman, Jayberman. So big picture now. The Yankees, as we said, had a 1.5 game lead over the Orioles. Orioles beaten up by the Red Sox at Fenway. Tomorrow, a very interesting pitching matchup. We've got Marcus Stroman and Seth Lugo, a pair of former Mets. How about that? That's right. Lugo, a former Met. Stroman, a former Met, for what it's worth, which is absolutely nothing. But again, that should be a pretty good pitching matchup. Royals very much alive in that wild card race in the American League. They're right now in the 2 slot. Looks like those 3 wild card teams are pretty much set. Obviously, plenty of time to go, just under 3 weeks, nearly 20 games to play. But it looks like we can go out on a limb and choose those 3 teams for the American League wildcard. Now, obviously, position and positioning is very important and will be important over the coming days. As we said, Yankees now have 18 games remaining. Magic number to clinch, actually now down to 8 to clinch a playoff spot, and they're up a game and a half on the Orioles. Yankee fans did get their wish. We talked about the Martian being called up, and he finally gets the call up on September 8th when it should have been September 1st. And coincidentally enough, DJ LeMahieu with a hip impingement, he goes to the IL. John Birdie came up, by the way, as well. So with the exception of DJ LeMahieu, Yanks are getting healthy. They got their pitchers back. They got Dominguez back. Things are looking bright. No doubt about it. All right, as we said, Austin Wells, what's the monster 3-run home run in the 7th inning to give the Yanks that 7-4 lead, his 13th homer of the season. The cleanup situation for the Yankees in their batting order was suspect at best for a long time, despite the success this year during the regular season. It looks like we found our cleanup hitter. That's right. Wells, as we said, went 2 for 5 with a home run, drove in 4, had 2 extra base hits, had a home run. He also had a double. Dominguez got the call, as we said late last night. We told you the story. He takes care of business by helping the Yankees beat the Royals 10-4. And as we said, kicking off the homestand in style, every game at this point in time is super important. So that's needless to say, if you will. The no kidding statement of the day, every game is important. But if the Yankees can somehow get to 2.5, 3.5, 4.5 in the next couple of days, then they can start to tinker. They can line up their rotation. They can give some guys some breathers, as they did with Volpe tonight. Maybe they get Judge and Soto a few days off here and there. Maybe not a few, but 1 or 2. That could certainly happen. And obviously, with Stanton on the bench and Volpe on the bench tonight, those guys should be fresh moving forward. All right. Hunter Renfroe did hit a home run. Salvador Perez did hit a home run. And as we said, the Royals hitters were very aggressive from the get-go. Very first batter, the first pitch. That's getting right into it. There's no waiting. I like that. Regardless, it's a 6-inning, 3 earned run performance for Carlos Rodon. And as we said, tomorrow night, Marcus Stroman and Seth Lugo. Don't get the chance to watch Bobby Witt Jr. every single day. But if there is a runner-up in the American League MVP race, it's Bobby Witt Jr. And despite all the numbers, he really is a joy to watch. This is the first time in a couple of months I've had a chance since June, when the Yankees were in Kansas City, early June. And as we said, Rodon pitched against the Royals then, but it's the first time I've really had a chance to watch him every day. And as amazed as we are with Judge, he's right there, just as amazing. Speedy, quickest guy in the big leagues, strong, fast, smart, has a presence about him. The Royals are in good hands moving forward. All right, we have to take a real quick break. And when we come back, we will discuss, as we said, our bullet points for tonight. The Martian, Rodon, Wells, Judge, and Bobby Witt Jr. All right, we are back, and we are about to tell you that passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. All right, we are back. It's Locked On Yankees Postcast. We're with you immediately following every single Yankee game. My name is Jay Berman. Happy to have you aboard once again. We have about 10 minutes left on the show. And as we said, Yankees get out of Monday, if you will, with a 10-4 win over the Kansas City Royals. Now, the Royals, as we said, 106 losses last year. They were real bad, but they're real good this year. And we might see the Royals in the postseason. And it could be in any round, really. It could be in the wild card round. It could be in the division series, obviously in the championship series as well. But we could see the Royals. Obviously, every Yankee fan out there wants to see the Twins in the postseason, at least in the first round or the first round they play. So that seems like it could be a lock, dare I say. Regardless, Royals wouldn't be a bad matchup either. And again, we'll see Seth Lugo and Marcus Stroman in game number 2 of the series. Thanks for making Locked On Sports New York your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And again, my name is Jay Berman. Follow me on X at JAYBERMAN. All right, we did it earlier. We'll do it one more time. We want to mention our partners in crime over at Locked On Yankees. Stacy Gotsulias and Brian McKeon. They handle all the stuff at Locked On Yankees. Really, they are the best. Follow, subscribe, and enjoy. All right, the Yankees enter the day a half game up on the Orioles in the division. And considering the way things went at Wrigley the last couple of days, Yanks scored only 6 runs in that Cubs series, and yet they took 2 out of 3 because the Cubs just didn't score. Yankees staff, no earned runs over the 3 games in Chicago. Pretty impressive. So it was Brady Singer against Carlos Rodon. Rodon was great. 6 innings, 3 earned, 9 strikeouts. As we said, the Royals really... It's not a worst to first because Cleveland's going to win the division. They're going to win the AL Central, but it's close. Worst to pretty good. They're going to make the postseason, and that's really quite a turnaround for the Royals. All right, it was the re-debut, if you will, of Jason Dominguez tonight as the Yankees called up the Martian. We talked about how he got the call last night and he was excited. Did a lot of pregame interviews as a top prospect would do really in any market. A little different in New York because there's so many cameras and so many beat writers and so many reporters. Regardless, he seemed a little shy, had a kind of a shy smirk on for the interviews, but he did a wonderful job. And remember, English is not his first language. So a tremendous job by him speaking to all the cameras. And you could tell because it's tiring. I felt bad for him at one point just because he's up here to play baseball. He's got 2.5 weeks to prove that he can be in the starting lineup when the postseason begins. He's got all these microphones and cameras and iPhones in his face. Not easy, but he proved that he can get the job done. Had a hit tonight, scored a run after a Salvador Perez throwing error. Paul O'Neill talked about how the stolen base, the steal of third base with 2 outs in that situation was actually a good play. And it turned out to be that because he scored the run. All right, Yankees got to Brady Singer thanks to Alex Verdugo, who got the Yankees going with that big home run. And then obviously Austin Wells hits the home run. Austin Wells hits the double later on. Really good stuff from the Yankees. All right, it's the Locked On Yankees postcast. We'll be with you immediately following every Yankee game. My name is Jay Berman. Happy to have you aboard. The Yankee fans were clamoring for Jason Dominguez to get the call up even before September 1st. At September 1st, that was the point at which we said it must happen. There were talks about it possibly happening before that, but September 1st, it needed to happen. It didn't. Cashman and Boone and everybody involved took a lot of heat. A week and a day later, we all got what we wanted. Jason Dominguez into the big leagues and into the starting lineup. All right, thank you for making Locked On Sports New York your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Prepare for the Fall Classic, which is right around the corner. Prepare for it with Sully, who has it all covered every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't need to search. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, we're going to wrap up things here on the Yankees on the Locked On Yankees postcast. Again, a 10-4 victory. Tremendous stuff. And guess what? We get to do it all again tomorrow night. Lugo and Stroman from the Bronx. Very much looking forward to it. My name is Jay Berman. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you right here tomorrow.